Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alisha, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. Let's get to your first question this week. First question this week comes from Olke Sinan. Hi Olke, I hope I said your name right. Olke says, award and reward have similar meanings. What is the difference? Thank you. Great question. Award and reward. These two words can be used as both nouns and verbs. So let's break them down one by one. First, let's talk about reward. Let's talk about this as a noun. A reward is something we get in return for doing something else. So for example, if you help your friend move into a new apartment, they might give you a reward. For example, they might buy you pizza, or they might buy you something, or give you some money even, perhaps, in exchange for helping them. We can understand this as a reward. Or for example, if you see somebody posting like a missing sign, like maybe someone's cat is missing, it might say on that poster where they're talking about the details of their missing cat, reward $100. So this means in exchange for finding my missing cat, I will give you this money. So we're talking about some kind of exchange of services, or maybe some kind of exchange of goods, I suppose, in some cases. But generally, when we do something for someone else, they might hopefully give us a reward in exchange for that thing. We can use the verb form of reward in the same way. So for example, I found my neighbor's cat and he rewarded me with $100. Or I helped my friend move into her new apartment and she rewarded me with pizza and beer. It was a great time. So we use reward to talk about these kinds of transactions, right? These kinds of doing good things in exchange for getting something else. So whether or not you do the good thing just for the reward is a different conversation, but this is what reward means. Let's compare this then to the word award. So let's talk about this as a noun to begin with. An award is not something that we get in exchange for something. It's not something that's related to a transaction. Rather, an award is usually given to somebody else as kind of a recognition that they've done something really great. So there's some kind of excellent quality about this person. So for example, a top scientist might receive an award for his or her work. Or maybe at your workplace, you might receive an award for excellent performance that month. So the key with award is that there isn't really some kind of transaction. It's rather some kind of recognition of a great job done. You might also be familiar with awards shows, especially in the entertainment industry. So actors and actresses often receive awards for their performances. They're receiving some kind of trophy or some other kind of maybe certificate that shows that other people think they're great. So that's what an award essentially is. So for example, the actress was awarded an Oscar for her performance in the movie. So an Oscar is a very, very high-level award for actors and actresses. Or for example, I was awarded Employee of the Month at my job this month. So we can use award as a verb or as a noun. So the key difference here between award and reward is that award is used in situations where we're recognizing something great about someone else. Reward is used in situations where we're kind of talking about some kind of transaction. Someone does something in exchange for something else. So I hope this helps you understand the difference between these two words. Thanks very much for an interesting question. Okay, let's move along to your next question. Next question comes from Ginny. Hi, Ginny. Ginny says, hi, Alicia. Can you explain the word superglued? I heard it from a conversation. Okay, sure, yeah. Superglued as a verb, right? Past tense verb in this case. So first, let's talk about superglue as a noun. What is superglue? So if you don't know the word glue, glue is a sticky material, a sticky substance that we use to attach things to other things. So for example, if you're doing like a craft project, you maybe will use glue to maybe put one piece of paper onto another, and it stays there, right? It becomes hard and stays. So this is glue. Basic glue is used by kids in schools to do arts and crafts projects. Super glue glue then is like the next level of glue. So super glue is used to attach much tougher materials together. So maybe wood, for example, or some kinds of fabric maybe. So when we use super glue, we can use this as a verb actually. So although it's a noun, super glue, which refers to just like a mega type of glue, we can also use this as a verb. So to super glue something means to use super glue to attach something to something else. So in your question, the word superglued means I used super glue to attach something to something else. So this is what super glue means as a noun, and it's also what it means as a verb. So some other example sentences might be, I superglued the two pieces of fabric together. I don't think they're going to come apart. Or she superglued her fingers together. Oh no, what should we do? So superglue is sometimes used in kind of unsafe ways, but this is actually kind of common example sentence that you may hear, especially when kids are just finding out about superglue for the first time. So I hope this helps you understand the use of superglue as a verb. Thanks very much for an interesting question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Lisa. Hi Lisa. Lisa says, hello, I have a small question. Can you give me a definition of overwhelming and some examples? Thank you. Okay, yeah, great question. Let's talk about how to use overwhelming, because this might be a little bit difficult to understand. At the base, at its core, overwhelming means that something is too much emotionally. So when we have an experience and we feel really, really strong emotions, we can describe that as something that is overwhelming. We can use this in positive situations and in negative situations. Something that causes you to feel a lot of happiness could also be overwhelming. Like you feel so much happiness that you feel maybe you need to cry or something. That could be described as something that is overwhelming. On the other hand, when you have something negative happen in your life, like something very, very stressful or very difficult, you could also describe that as overwhelming. So you feel such strong emotions relating to stress or sadness, for example, that you want to cry maybe. We can describe that as overwhelming as well. So let's take a look at some example sentences so you can see how it might be used. First, let's look at a happy example sentence. You could say, my wedding day was so beautiful. It was overwhelming. I cried. So this is an example of a situation that is very happy and that causes lots of emotion. So it's like it's too much emotion at one moment and you feel kind of like a little bit out of control perhaps. This is something we can describe as overwhelming in a positive way. On the other hand, a stressful situation might be something like, my boss made me work so much overtime last month. It was overwhelming. So this expresses that someone is feeling stressed or upset about a situation that was emotionally just too much for them. So we can use overwhelming to talk about these different kinds of situations. Also, here we're focusing on the word overwhelming. So we use this to describe the situation outside us. So my wedding was so beautiful, it was overwhelming. Or my job was overwhelming last month. So we're talking about the thing outside us. When you want to describe your own emotions, though, use overwhelmed. So we can use this in the same kinds of situations. We just need to change the grammatical structure of the sentence a little bit. So for example, in a happy situation, we might say something like, my wedding was so beautiful, I was overwhelmed. Or we might also say something like, I was overwhelmed with happiness. Some people like to include the emotion at the end there. So overwhelmed is the expression that we use to talk about our own feelings. I was overwhelmed or I am overwhelmed. Again, in a stressful situation, we can do the same thing with this word. So my work was really, really difficult last month. I had to work so much overtime. I was overwhelmed. So again, we're talking about having too much to do, too much to take care of, feeling a little bit out of control. There's just too much of a certain emotion. So when you talk about your own emotions, use overwhelmed. When you talk about the thing outside you, use overwhelming. So I hope this helps you understand the use and the meaning of the word overwhelming and overwhelmed too. Thanks very much for an interesting question. All right, that is everything that I have for this week. Thank you as always for sending your super great questions. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alisha. There is also a link in the YouTube description, so check that out to find the official question submission page. If If you like this video, please, please, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alisha, and I will see you again next time. Bye!